Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome.
Radhe Radhe.
Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Pavanji Gauri Guruvarga ki jai, Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Radha Raman Sarkar ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Kadiyati Rabha Maha Mahotsav ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur. Do you need the fan down one?
We'll try it for now. Jayam is here, Taruni Gopi is here.
Radhe Radhe, Jayanti Didi, Radhe Radhe, Taruni Gopi.
Jaya Hari.
Jaya Hari.
Sachinandan Das, Dandavat Pranam to all.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
So we're beginning on page 1 with Mangalacharan.
Braja Kishore? Braja Kishore's with us today?
Radhe Radhe, Braja Kishore.
CK Mai. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna.
Who's CK Mai? Krishna Mai?
CK Mai.
Chandra.
Chandrakanta. Chandrakanta. Okay. We will begin on page 1. Dandavat Pranam Jivapada Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Jivapada Prabhu.
Okay. Jaya Hari. She's awesome. Hari Bol.
Oh, Radhe Radhe, Sudevi. Starting with B for Vande, Hum, Mangalacharan.
Which one is on the app? We use, Jayanti's asking which one is on the app, and we use the oldest version that we used to sing in front of Gurudev. So in the songbook there might be different ones that were added, but we continue doing what was approved of and what we did in front of Gurudev, because for us, we're doing it in front of Gurudev.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yupadakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagama Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagalita Shri Vishakhanvikangstra Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Godare सौन्दर्यमाधुर्यगुणैश्चयुक्तं वरं वरेण्यं पुरुषं महन्तं नारायणं त्वं शिरसा नमामि। नन्दिनं भक्तशिरोमणिं च श्रीकृष्णपादाभृतैकहृदि चैतन्यलीलामृतसारसारं नारायणं त्वं सततं प्रपद्ये। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्तिप्रज्ञान केशव इति नामिने। अतीमद्यच्चरित्राय स्वश्रितानंशपालिने जीवदुःखे सदरताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने। श्रीवर्षभानुमि देवी द्वैताय कृपाभये कृष्णाय सम्बन्धविज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाभ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनकारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाको सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रारम्भरसम्भूते तदम्बुजायते नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमरायते। गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथायते नमः। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते रूपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतोपं मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजं राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यं Shanidhi Sevyamana Smarami Shrimandrasanasaramhi Mam Shivadatattasrikaha Karsham Me Nusvanayogin Bhaktinatha Shriyestunaha Vrindaye Tulasine Nyaye Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatrei Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktatyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahanavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyamadhu Jeevanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritashvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Nam Hare Nam Hare Nam Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyata Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Which one? Kripa.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Bhajan.
Shri Guru Charana Padma.
Page 28 in this book. 28.
Shri Guru.
Starting with Shri, S-R-I, Shri Guru Charana Padma by Narottam Das Thakur. Sometimes, actually I find that this bhajan is mostly only sung at the time of Guru Puja or on an appearance day, or Shri Guru is present. But if you look at the meaning of this beautiful prayer, it is so full of all tattva, all siddhant, and all mercy about Shri Guru. And so I like to sing it just as we would sing Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya or any other bhajan. Because actually, everything that we're doing, we hope to do in puja to Guru. All of our activities that we are endeavoring in bhakti, Sri Gurudev said first must be applied to the lotus feet of Sri Guru. Even this verse, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, although it says Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam, there we see exclusively for Krishna, but the first form of Krishna to manifest in our life is Sri Guru. This is Krishna's form, right? Manifesting. Krishna Rup, Krishna Svarup. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Sri Guru, Diksha and Shiksha Gurus are the Krishna Rup and Krishna Svarup. So first and foremost, Gurudev said, we must apply this shlok, Anya Vilashita Shunyam, wholly and totally to the lotus feet of Sri Guru. So that means whatever we're doing in our progress or in our path of bhakti, we should see that my Gurudev is sitting in front of me. Before we do arti, before we make an offering, we call Gurudev. And right now we're also calling Gurudev. Please manifest in my life. Please be merciful to me. Please accept me as your own. What did you want to add?
I just wanted to say, if you can't find it or you don't have an app or a songbook, Jiva Pavana Prabhu has put it in the thread so you can open it and sing from there. Thank you, Prabhuji. Bhaktivedanta Pranam. I haven't had enough course. I wasn't planning on doing this. But as we were singing that, and every time we sing this kirtan, this bhajan, an extraordinary memory comes to my mind. It's a meditation for me now. And it was one time when our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja, he was traveling the world, and at this time he was in the Fiji Islands. And at that time, one of the senior Vaisnava disciples of Srila Prabhupada is taking shiksha from our Gurudev, Vrindavan Vilasini Didi. She was there. And Arti was going on, and Gurudev was sitting there. And everyone was just coming up and doing that and throwing the flowers or putting them at his feet. It was kind of like the ritual was being done. And Gurudev was just sitting there, just like this. And then I was just standing off to the side because the seniors go first. So I was watching. She was the first Vaishnava devotee lady to go first. She went up to Gurudev and she got on her knees and she took the flowers to her heart and then looked directly into his eyes and put the flowers at his feet. And I just watched Gurudev. He was just staring directly back at her. And if you weren't watching, you might not have noticed, but his hand went like this. Just his hand, it was sitting in his hand, in his lap, but it went like this. He was just blessing her and accepting her heart. And that is the meaning of Puspanjali. That is the meaning of ha ha, Gurudev, please give me your mercy. And it's such a beautiful meditation that when we are singing these, we're actually trying to take whatever beautiful flower, anything fragrant, anything sweet that we can offer to the feet of our Gurudev. At that time, we can call out. The rest of the day, we really can't, unless maybe we're yelling at our kids, our husband, wife. You know, we never yell, we never call out, we never really scream out. And so when we do kirtan, that is Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj. He says that the loud chanting of the holy names of Krishna is the sound of the Atma crying for Krishna. So when we're calling for Gurudev, we are screaming out, please Gurudev, give me your mercy. Anything good, anything worthy of offering at this time with conviction, with no ritualistic tendency, I am offering my heart to you here and now. And Gurudev was accepting that. And every time we sing that, I remember that. And I try to always remember that that is Puspanjali, that is Guru Puja. Not just singing, not just repeating, not just memorizing something, but trying to offer our mind, our body, our words, our heart, any good thing that we have to offer to the lotus feet of our Gurudev with as much affection as we can bring to that.
What did Guru tell you about offering flowers? Why do we offer flowers?
Srila Gurudev said, why do we offer flowers to Guru and Krishna? He said, they don't need them. What will they do with them? What will they do with these? If you look on my altar, they're all dry. It's just so hot here. Everything is dried in 1 hour. What will they do with that? He said, really what you are doing is you are taking shelter of something so soft, so fragrant, pure and sweet. And in the name of that flower, in the name of that beautiful, in the name of my heart, I am offering that beautiful flower to your lotus feet. When I went to accept initiation from Srila Gurudev, I wanted so badly to do something to impress him. And so I went and I had one devotee pick a beautiful magnolia, the most beautiful smelling flower next to the gardenia, in my opinion. And I thought, I want to give this to Gurudev, but with a twist. So I brought that to him, and I said, Srila Gurudev, and he opened the door. When I walked in for initiation, he opened the door. I said, Srila Gurudev, this is for Param Gurudev. And he smiled and he took it in his hands. And he said, I want to make your heart like this, so soft, fragrant, and pure. And I will take that, and I will offer it to the lotus feet of my own beloved. And then he put that flower at the feet of Param Gurudev's picture. So that's the meaning of Guru Puja. Why are we doing these things? Put some of our heart, our mood, our calling out. It shouldn't be a ritual. It shouldn't be just trying to get through the song and get the words. Okay, maybe I don't understand Bengali or Hindi or Sanskrit, but Guru and Krishna do. And they understand the necessity of our hearts, and they understand that even right now the whole world is crying. And the more we sing, the more we chant, the louder we chant, the more chance there is of the entire environment becoming purified, but even more chance that they will hear those prayers and they will respond. And that is what is important. Please hear my prayer. How can I offer myself to you? And I saw Vrindavan Vilasini Didi do that, and I saw Gurudev accept it. And then I went and a few people after her, and it didn't work the same. Because I was just acting. Oh, she did this, I'll do this. But really with heart, not a ritual. I just wanted to share that. Sorry.
When I first saw Srila Gurudev, I also copied the person who was ahead of me. We were in Navadvip, and I went to see him because my father had said, I will give you a little extra money for your tickets to India if you go and see two persons, Srila Bhakti Pramopuri Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. Offer your pranam to them and hear from them. So I thought, yeah, I can do that. I need the money for my tickets. Anyhow, I was brought there by some mystical occurrence, and we sat in front of Gurudev. All of the devotees there were crying, as they used to back in the day, and then it was time to leave. So one after another, the devotees were offering their pranam at his feet. They were touching his feet, and I was like, ooh, I wasn't used to seeing that. Where I came from before, no one touched anyone's feet, but everyone was touching Gurudev's feet. But then there are those persons who are a little bit more spontaneous in their nature. And one lady from India, she was before me, and I was just seeing the progression. It was like the quick touch, then it was two hands, then it was like you put your head in touch, and then the lady before me, she went and she just put her head on his feet and was like that. And I was looking left and right. I guess I'm supposed to do that. So I went next, and I just put my head on his feet. I felt like a puppy. I don't know, just rubbing my head on his feet, but maybe some of that foot dust penetrated, hopefully. I didn't know what I was doing, but still there's potency in that. So now we will call out for the mercy of Vaishnavas. By the mercy of the Vaishnavas, we can also understand how to properly serve and please Gurudev. That is the function of Shiksha Guru, as I say every day, to increase our serving mood toward our Diksha Guru. That is a quote from Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, our Param Gurudev. Ebara Kurana Karo.
Ebara Karuna Koro starts E-I-B-A-R-A. Ebara Karuna Koro, page 44 in the small songbook. And in the little book, it's Subi, page 75. She makes it really very short. Page 75.
This is a prayer for the mercy of Mahaprabhu, but also for the mercy of Vaishnavas.
Maybe tomorrow you can remind us and we can tell you one beautiful Leela of Gurudev behind this bhajan also. Just remind us.
Jai Anilo Prema Without calling out to him, we can never hope to obtain even a drop of the mercy of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. He has written a beautiful bhajan in glorification of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. It's the last one of the Nikai bhajans. Jai Jai Nityananda, Rohini Kumar, page 64 here. I'm just going to read the translation of this one. It is so beautiful. All glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the son of Rohini. To deliver the fallen souls, he extends his two arms. With a choked voice, he stammers sweetly. Whomever he sees, he lovingly embraces. Overflowing with prema, his eyes always roll about restlessly, looking like bumblebees hovering over a golden lotus. The merciful Lord Srinitai knows the sufferings of others. He has strung together a garland of the holy names, which he has bestowed upon the people of this world. He has subdued the sinners and the atheist, but he has distributed praying to the poor and the lowly. Calling out, "Alas, O Gauranga!" he falls to the earth. Nitai's whole body becomes soaked with the tears from his eyes. Within his heart, Vrindavan Das considers Sri Nityananda Prabhu to be like Mount Sumeru falling upon the earth. Because we spoke about it. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari, Radhe Govinda, Hare Krishna. Jai Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinandan,
Jai Gaura Hari,
Jai Sachinandan, Jai Gaura Hari.
Hare
Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari Shri Radha Nilo Bihari Ji ki jai, Radha Ramana Sarkar ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Brihad Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hari This Kanpura reminds me of Srila Prabhupada singing, you know, Gora Pona Bhajiya.
Think about 15-20 minutes for doing this. Please do some Beyond Vaikuntha.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktāya Tad Bhaktāya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamine Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate ginam Yatkrupatamham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times into the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. And the same unto the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, to all of our Rupani, Gauri and Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, and all of those who are watching on Facebook who are currently in lockdown in their homes, my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So today, as you know, is the auspicious holy day, the anniversary of the disappearance of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur from this world. As we spoke just yesterday, on the anniversary of the disappearance of Sri Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, to glorify Vaishnavas, to remember them, their activities, their pastimes. This will remove millions of anarthas from our hearts, and in place of that, we will develop an eagerness or greed to run toward Krishna and serve Krishna. Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tiner Smaran Hoy Sarva Vigna Vinasham. All Vigna means all ignorance, all anarthas, all impediments on the path of bhakti will gradually be destroyed by remembering the qualities of these great personalities. So today is the day of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. It is his disappearance day, and yet our acharyas say that the appearance and disappearance, although there is speciality, they're considered non-different, because that personality is manifesting more prominently to us in those days, in terms of our remembrance. On the appearance and disappearance, we're remembering them, their qualities, their pastimes, their glories. So, as I mentioned the other day, when any Vaishnava disappears, we should not think that they die. They do not have material bodies like we do. Because every aspect of their life, everything to do with their mind, their heart, their soul is engaged solely in the service of Krishna. There is a verse which we just heard the other day from Sri Shlokamritam Bindu, it's there. it says that at the time of Diksha, when one has received not just the Diksha mantras, but Diksha is a process. Through that process, one's material body is changed gradually into a spiritual body. Like bell metal, through an alchemical process, is turned to gold. So you can adjust some things. Some things would mean this material body is made of energy. That energy is Krishna's energy. If it is utilized exclusively in the service of Krishna, then instead of being mundane, it is spiritualized. It becomes transcendental substance. Therefore, to see the pure devotee as an ordinary mortal, having an ordinary material body, is considered offensive. It is not true. In the same way as seeing the form of Krishna and thinking that it is material, Krishna has choice words for those persons. Avajananti mam mudha. The pure devotees are like Krishna. They have no connection to this material world. It might appear like that to our external vision. In the same way that we will look at Vrindavan, the holy Dham, and think it is grounded in this material world, but actually it has no connection whatsoever. The jaundice is in our eyes. The pure devotee is transcendental and pure, and always serving. Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari and Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhya yayari bhir yuktir apekshaniya tatrati rakshat atiballabhasya bande guru Shri Charanarvindam. They're expert in assisting the gopis to serve Sri Radha and Krishna. This is our Guru Varga. So in this case, today we are remembering the glories of one amazing, great personality, the Vyas of Gaur Leela, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. So Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur is a very, very prominent personality for us because he manifested. He revealed to us the pastimes of the most munificent avatar, Sri Sachinandan Gaur Hari, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gave us all of his early pastimes. He gave us all of his mid pastimes up to a certain point, and then touched on other pastimes near the end of Mahaprabhu's presence in this world, with so many powerful lessons. And he gave it into this world in such a way that it was easily digestible by the public. So taking the most powerful, most prominent shlokas from all Shastra, but putting it into simple language without making it so philosophical. It was philosophical, but the ordinary mind couldn't understand. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada went through the manifestation which came from the heart of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. All of these pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada went through and saw all of the shloks that he was referencing. And in his commentary on the book, which used to be known as Chaitanya Mangal, but then later became known as Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada made commentaries on this Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, and he has extracted and shown where all of the evidence, all of the praman from Shastra is to support what Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur has written, showing that he was well versed in all Shastra. And this is really a symptom of a pure devotee or Shri Guru. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam Shabde Pare Chinishnatam Brahmanyupasamashrayam. So they are well versed in all Shastras. They can remove all doubts of anyone through the medium of Shastra. And the most important quality, they are completely surrendered, 100% to Parabrahma Shri Krishna. Brahmanyupasamashrayam. When one is connected to Krishna, they are connected to the source of all transcendental knowledge. So what they speak, what they give is transcendental sound vibration, or Shabda Brahma. They are tapping into that source of absolute truth and presenting that to us. Therefore, if there is any pure devotee in this world, then nothing is lost, in essence. So Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, do you want to add something to it?
I was just thinking of, even if spoken imperfectly, how Gurudev asked that question to that Sanskrit scholar, and how sometimes people say Srila Prabhupada said this or that, but our acharyas, and they have told us that even if it is spoken imperfectly, it is perfect.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, I believe it's the second or third verse, it said, even though it may be imperfectly composed, it is still relished by those who are nirmatsar, means free from envy, and those who are thoroughly honest. One time we were in Fiji with our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaja. And that time there was a yogi who was there, who was very, very healthy. This yogi was teaching people special exercises where you would drink like a gallon of water and clean out your system. And he was trying to teach people, including the devotees, how to make themselves very healthy. He must have been in his 70s, but he was glowing with health. He was also a Sanskrit scholar. So he was brought to meet with our Gurudev, and our Gurudev was so sweet and kind and affectionate, and they were having a beautiful discussion, but like two old friends together, discussing the old times and how they were interacting with each other. It was just beautiful to watch. And then our Gurudev asked him, he was asking certain questions in Sanskrit to this Sanskrit scholar. And the Sanskrit scholar was trying to answer them in different ways. And then Gurudev looked at me and he said, do you know this verse, Namo Mahavaranyaya? And I said, yes. He said, can you say it? So I said, Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvishaya Namaha. And he said, is it Pradayate or Pradayine? And I'm like, Pradayate. And he said, are you sure? I said, yes. Then he asked the Sanskrit scholar, should it be Pradayate or Pradayine? And the Sanskrit scholar was thinking, technically it should be Pradayine, but it might be possible to. And Gurudev cut. He said, but this verse was composed by a Mahabhagavat Vaisnava, Swarup Damodar Goswami, according to the rules of Sanskrit grammar. If it is manifested from the heart of any pure devotee who is free from the 4 defects, then it should be accepted completely as it is, as truth, without defect. And this old yogi, he was like, yes, yes, you are right, you are right, you are right. So this is a very beautiful point, that Brahm, Pramada, Karnapatava, and Vipralipsa, these 4 tendencies of the conditioned soul.
What are they?
Brahm means the tendency to come under illusion. We can all check ourselves, check our pulses, and see, are we able to be fooled? Yeah.
Yep.
Pramada, the tendency to make mistakes.
Yep.
Yes. Karnapatava, due to my imperfect senses, I come under illusion, I make mistakes. Yes, imperfect senses. And Vipralipsa, the tendency to cheat others. No, I don't have that, except if I have imperfect senses, I've made mistakes and come under illusion, and then I pass that information on to another person, then my tendency to cheat others has been pronounced. So these 4 are the defects of conditioned souls, but they do not occur within the sayings of the all-knowing, all-perfect transcendental personalities. This is a verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, written by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So this is also there for Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is said to be the Vyasadeva of Gaur Lila, just like our Krishna Dvaipayan Veda Vyas is the Vyas for Krishna's pastimes. So Vrindavan Das Thakur has been mentioned, even by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, as the Vyas of Gaur Lila. And Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami was so respectful and full of honor toward Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. He said that what I will write in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is only taking the remnants of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. He has written so much, so I don't want to write about those things that he's written about. But what little remnants he's left for me and what he did not write about, then I will write about that. So we see more about the sannyas pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srila Krishna Ras Kaviraj Goswami's writings, and also a lot of the tattva aspects. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrishovaneva Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmad. All of these things, Anarpita Charin Chirat, who he was, in essence, what he came to give. In the writings of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's telling more about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, and he's also giving so many valuable lessons like Haridas Thakur, Jagai Madai. All of this is in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Sri Advaita Charya's glorification and respecting of Haridas Thakur. The pastimes between Advaita Charya and Nityananda Prabhu. But Vrindavan Das Thakur was so focused on glorifying that personality who gives you that mercy, who actually is empowered to give you to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that it is said that he got lost in glorifying Sri Nityananda Prabhu and was not able to complete the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Vrindavan Das Thakur has a very special affinity toward Sri Nityananda Prabhu. I just want to stop here for a second and go back to the beginning, and then I will come back to this point. Remind me of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, always. So, Vrindavan Das Thakur was born as the son of Narayani. Narayani is the niece of Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur is that personality in whose home Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his most intimate associates, we'd say his swapaksha, would come together and do kirtan all night. Not everyone was allowed in that kirtan. He was doing street kirtan where everyone could join, and then he would do his Maharasa kirtan inside the home of Srivas Thakur. So this Narayani was his niece. It is said that Srivas Thakur was threatened that because you're making such a ruckus, you're creating holy terror in our ears by doing kirtan all night, we're going to report you to the Muslim authorities. Bengal was under the Muslim government at that time, and they're going to come and destroy your home and arrest you and put you in jail. And so he expressed his concern to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said, don't worry, nothing will happen. And our acharyas have mentioned that Srivas Thakur was a little bit like doubtful. Maybe not doubtful, but expressing uncertainty. Of course, we know that he was doing that for our benefit because he is the personification of Nishta, Shraddha, Nishta, Ruchi. He is non-different from Narad Muni. But for our benefit, he's showing some doubt. So what did Mahaprabhu say? To prove to Srivas that he is no ordinary person.
He's okay.
We have the fans on high and it's a bit dusty. So to prove that he was no ordinary personality, he showed Srivas Thakur something amazing. He told this little 4 or 5-year-old girl, Narayani, he said, you should chant and dance and weep in praying. Immediately this Narayani began calling out the names of the Lord, crying, chanting and dancing, manifesting all of the symptoms of ecstatic praying, Ashta Sattvic Bhavs. At that time, Srivas Thakur, seeing this, realized, oh, if Mahaprabhu can manifest this, nothing can affect me. Nothing can affect me. So his Shraddha, his Nishta became stronger in the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said that Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't refer or didn't make any mention of any family members except for those family members who were intimately connected to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He didn't even acknowledge in any of his writings anyone other than his mother, Narayani, because of her connection to Mahaprabhu, the mercy which he gave. It is said that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada wrote that Mahaprabhu is perpetually giving her his mercy in this form of Mahaprasad. that she is experiencing this praying. Perpetually he's giving this to her. So he mentions her and also her grandfather.
Her grandfather's brother.
Her grandfather's brother, because of connection to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his depth in bhakti. This is quite interesting.
Who is our family?
Srimad Bhagavatam tells us, Gurur na sasyat, svajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyan, daivam na sasyan, na patishta sasyan, na mochayadyas samupeta mrityum. That family member, that friend, that mother, that father, that guru, that demigod, who cannot save one from the path which leads to death, or who actively encourages one on the path which leads to death, it's not fit to be in that position. They are actually fit to be rejected. According to this, namochayadya samupeta mrityum. Gurur nasasyat. That person is not a guru. That person is not a deva. That person is not a father. That person is not a mother. That person is not a friend or a family member or a husband. If they cannot save their dependents from the path which leads to death. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is acknowledging all of those personalities in his life who are reminding him of Krishna, who are reminding him of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And for us, this is a very important and powerful lesson. Our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, he says, association is the most important thing. Association with devotees can make you devoted to Krishna. Association with non-devotees can make you averse to Krishna. And then he gave the example. Even the son of the Lord, Varahadev and Bhumi Devi's son. Varahadev had a son with Mother Earth. I can't remember his name when he was born, but later on he became known as Narak Asur. Narak means hell and Asur means demon. So he became known as a hellish demon. He's the one who had stolen the 16,100 princesses from all over India and kept them in a cave. And when Krishna went to rescue them, he first had to kill this Naraka Asur. Our Gurudev explained that due to bad association, even the son of the Lord became contaminated. So association is the most essential and important thing. The Gurudev just said association. Association will determine, will make or break you. So for us, good association is essential. It is making a determined vow that I will only accept in my life what is favorable for remembering Krishna. What will help me remember Krishna now, tomorrow, and at the time of death. We don't know if we have. Srila Prabhupada said, Maharaj Parikshit, he was guaranteed 7 days. We don't know if we have 7 minutes or 7 seconds. We don't know. What do we want to be thinking about when that time comes? What do we want to think about? Krishna. We want to think about Krishna. We don't want to think about all the other things of this world. Millions of problems have been there. Millions of problems will always be there. It's the same thing over and over again. It is known as samsara. Birth, death, disease, old age. But the point is, who helps us to remember Krishna? We should keep that association. Who distracts us from Krishna or tries to take our minds away from Krishna? Hare Krishna. We can try to remind them of Krishna, but we cannot force it. Then Hare Krishna. But I need to do what is favorable for my devotion to Krishna, to develop that. So Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur has taught us that with his own example, that he was maintaining connection to those personalities who are favorable to Krishna and reminding him of Krishna. So Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur also acknowledged, and you can see it very, very strongly all throughout Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, that without the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, we will never attain the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we know that without the mercy of Mahaprabhu, we cannot attain the shelter of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Gaura Prema Rasarnave Se Tarange Jevaruve Se Radha Madhav Antaranga. Diving deep into the ocean of Gaura Prema, one will rise in the Jamuna in the association of Sri Sri, Radha and Madhava. But how do we get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? By the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. As Sri Nityananda Prabhu called Raghunath, Raghunath, come here. Raghunath Das Goswami was at a distance. He said, only a thief hides in the distance. You should come here. So Raghunath came, offered his Dandavat Pranam in front of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu placed his 2 lotus feet upon the head of Raghunath Das. At that time, he gave him his full mercy. Then he engaged him in serving all of the Vaishnavas. Then he sent him to Mahaprabhu. Raghunath tried to go first to Mahaprabhu without first taking the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu. That's why Nityananda Prabhu called him a thief. You tried to take what is my property. You tried to take what is my property without coming to me. Once Raghunath came to the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, who manifests in our life directly in the form of Sri Guru. Once he came to him and received his mercy, then he was given into the shelter of Mahaprabhu, who gave him into the shelter of Sarup Damodar Goswami. So Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, he says those who only try to accept Mahaprabhu without Nityananda Prabhu, this is like the logic of accepting half a hen. Have you heard of this logic? Half hen logic? I want the part that lays the eggs, but I don't want the part that eats. So I will cut it in half. Then you'll have nothing. You won't get anything. So he says those who try to separate Nityananda Prabhu from Mahaprabhu, those who try to go to Mahaprabhu without securing the grace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, they will never attain perfection. We pray to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He can grant us also praying for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Heno nitai binebai, Radha Krishna paitenai, Dridha kori dahro nitai pai. We pray to him that by his mercy, he will give us into the shelter of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. He has this capacity. He is Akhanda Guru Tattva. Why am I mentioning Nityananda Prabhu so much? Because this was the main topic of Vrindavan Das Thakur's absorption and obsession.
Just that he is his last disciple.
They say that Vrindavan Das Thakur was like the last disciple of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He may also be the best disciple. He is completely focused. His nishta in Nityananda Prabhu is so powerful and so strong. He said, anyone who does not accept Sri Nityananda Prabhu, I will kick them in their heads. He said it in the first part of Chaitanya Bhagavat. He said it in the middle part. He said it in the end part. Anyone who disrespects or does not accept Nityananda Prabhu, I kick them in the head. So our acharyas have given commentaries on this because from an external perspective, it may seem that he's being a little bit harsh. Why is he saying he's going to kick them in the head? This seems a bit heavy. So our acharyas have explained that just like Nityananda Prabhu, when Shivananda Sain came close to him, he kicked Shivananda Sain. He also put his feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami, but he kicked Shivananda Sain. If we look at it from a mundane perspective, hey, why is he kicking him? He's a devotee. But who is Nityananda Prabhu? He's the original form of Guru. His function is to give mercy. He is the mercy form of God. And his function is to bring you into the service of God. And sometimes it takes a little bit of an extra mercy boost. So when he kicked Shivananda Sain, was Shivananda Sain unhappy? No, he began dancing in bliss. Today my life has become successful. Because Nityananda Prabhu gave the mercy of his lotus feet. In the same way, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's also a transcendental personality, a pure devotee of Gaur Nityananda. So when he's saying, those who do not accept Nityananda Prabhu, or those who are dismissive of him, I kick them in the head. Generally we understand that if someone is neglectful or dismissive, we can reject that person. This is the nature of Madhyam. Madhyam Adhikari, Prem, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. They have praying for the Lord, friendship with like-minded devotees. They give mercy to those who are less fortunate but who are sincere and honest. And for those who are atheists, who are against service to the Lord, who are Mayavadis, etc., etc., it says Upeksha. Upeksha means neglect. But how merciful is Vrindavan Das Thakur? He's not just neglecting. He's saying, I will kick them in the heads. This is the commentary of our Acharya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj. So many have given this commentary. What does it mean to kick them in the heads? It means I am giving them my condensed, focused mercy. The foot dust of the Vaisnava is the most powerful substance. Bhakta Padaduli Ar Bhakta Padajal Bhakta Bhukta Avashesh Etin Mahabal. The dust from the lotus feet of the Vaishnava is extremely powerful. Bhajan Anukul Prema Latikaramul. It is favorable for bhajan. The dust from the lotus feet of the pure devotee. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj explained that we have our gross body, but we also have our subtle body. And our anarthas, they cling to our subtle body from birth after birth after birth. So, this dust does not only impact the external body, it also impacts the subtle body and kicks millions of lifetimes of anarthas away. As we spoke the other day, that directed, focused mercy of any pure devotee or Krishna can remove millions of lifetimes of sins and anarthas. Like when Krishna looked at those trees with anger that one moment, or when Narada Muni cursed. That curse was also full of auspiciousness. And we've seen it in many different places. So Vrindavan Das Thakur said, I kick them in their heads if they don't accept Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So we should accept Nityananda Prabhu to receive the mercy, and if you don't, he's still going to come after you and definitely kick you in your head. But it's better not to intentionally try to disappoint or displease any pure Vaishnava. This is not a recipe for success. So Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur also speaks about being very careful. Two things, important lessons. Srila Gurudeva Maharaj was telling that in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is told that those personalities who were beating Haridas Thakur, whipping him in 22 marketplaces, they knew that he is no ordinary personality. Because any ordinary personality, after one or two marketplaces, being beaten like that with those whips, would have easily lost their lives. But Haridas Thakur went through 22 marketplaces, being whipped bitterly. It is said that it was like flesh, it was hanging and just bone. And yet he was still alive. And they understood, we have done something wrong. But also they were worried for their own lives. So they begged him, please, you have to die. If you don't die, then we will be killed. Haridas said, oh, I don't want to create any problem for anyone. And they actually asked for forgiveness. Please forgive us. He said, of course, I don't take any offense. Because the Vaishnava doesn't take any offense, especially the pure Vaishnava like that. He doesn't accept any offense. So Haridas is like, of course I forgive you. Just see how I die. And he fell over backward. And they thought, okay, well, he was a Muslim who converted to Hinduism, therefore he does not deserve a Muslim burial, by which he would go to heaven. Let's give him a Hindu burial. Whew, in the Ganga. Not understanding that the Ganga is the water which has bathed the feet of the Lord. Transcendental substance. So Haridas floated down and came out a little ways later, completely fresh, refreshed, clean, pure, like nothing had happened. But Vrindavan Das Thakur says in Chaitanya Bhagavat that these two who were beating him had to go to hell. So Srila Govinda Maharaj asked the question, how is it that Haridas forgave them, but yet Vrindavan Das Thakur says they had to go to hell? So he reconciled, he clarified that the Vaishnava does not accept offense. Who accepts offense? Krishna accepts the offense on their behalf. That's why Vaishnava aparad is so dangerous. Offending, trying to kill, hanti, trying to kill the Vaishnava. It's such a dangerous offense. Krishna himself will not forgive it. So how do you know that you are actually forgiven? This is the important point.
Because we're told we have to go and ask forgiveness.
Yes. We are told that we should pray for forgiveness if we offend any Vaishnava, but how will we know that we have been forgiven? He said when our mood of sincerity and desperation, begging forgiveness, is such that that Vaishnava again gives us Krishna in the form of Harikatha. From his heart melts and he again gives us Krishna. Krishna is bound to that Vaishnava. Whatever that Vaishnava does with him, he has to accept. So if that Vaishnava again gives you Krishna in the form of Harikatha, then you will know that I've been forgiven for this offense. This is the words of Srila Gurudev Maharaj explaining this point. Also Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, and it's quite essential, he talked a lot about Vaishnava aparad. And he talked about taking sides when great personalities like Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu are having some apparent conflict. So Nityananda Prabhu is Baladev Prabhu, the source of all Vishnu Tattva. We understand Krishna is the original, but Baladev is the immediate, and from him all Vishnus manifest. Advaita Acharya is Sadashiva, otherwise known as Mahavishnu. So essentially they're not different from one another. When Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu are mock fighting, they might even appear to really be arguing and fighting. Some people were taking sides. Oh, how can he say this to him? No, how could he say this to him? They were taking sides, not understanding the transcendental nature of both. It would be like you looking at yourself in the mirror, making faces and calling yourself names. We probably have all done it as children. Who are you talking to? Why are you looking at me like that?
Did you do that?
Huh? Oh yeah, I've done it. So, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur said, those who take sides, not understanding the greatness of these transcendental personalities, they pave their path to hell. Because great personalities are beyond the realm of material understanding. Nityananda Prabhu is avadut. He's divine, he's transcendental. So how can we understand when two great personalities or Mahabhagavats seem to have an apparent conflict? We don't know. Here's a simple example. Our Srila Prabhupada had said many things about Gaudiya Math at certain times. And other persons had said certain things about Srila Prabhupada at certain times. We have Prabhupada on tape upon the departure of our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, his sannyas guru, weeping, crying, saying he is no more, he has gone back to Krishna. I see that he himself was the medium by which my Gurudev's mercy came to me. Prabhupada is acknowledging this and speaking about him like that. So us little people, we can be like, hey, this one and that one, they're having some apparent conflict. But we have to be very careful. They can say something. When the uncle and the father are having some discussion, the young child does not have any right to go into that. Or the father and the mother. They're having an argument, and then the child comes in, like that. 3-year-old kid starts screaming. No, it's not his place. He doesn't understand the years and the depth of relationship that is between these two personalities. In the same way, when great personalities, Mahabhagavats, or the Lord and the Lord, are having an apparent conflict, those who are not of that adhikar, we cannot enter into that. Otherwise, it is a recipe for damnation. So Vrindavan Das Thakur warns us very strongly about that. Also, Vrindavan Das Thakur is famous in his scriptures, what he has composed. He is famous for not beating around the bush, for giving it straight. He was so strong and so powerful in his presentations that everyone would be silent when he would speak, when he would present the truth from Shastra.
he actually wrote and spoke at that time that demoniac persons were being born in the family of Brahmins to stop the Vaishnavas and to hamper the preaching of Mahaprabhu, which was absolutely radical at that time. What to speak of now, but
Yes.
500 years ago.
You all heard that, right? He wrote that.
Yeah, they heard.
Okay. Also, our Guru Varga have said, even Gurudev said, so many Ravanas are coming. Ravanas means, he said, dressed like sannyasis. He said, even some may be here. He said, millions of Ravans are coming. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur also warned about these Kali Chelas coming in a certain way, even taking birth in families of devotees. Our Srila Prabhupada warned about it. They will come and externally join, but they will try to thwart the preaching of Mahaprabhu. People who will try to criticize anyone's endeavor to chant and to encourage others to take shelter of the holy name, the Lord. And this is prominent these days, coming from all quarters, from the demons, from devotees. You see it everywhere. If anyone tries to do any seva, people will criticize that. This part of Kali Yuga. Kali Maharaj is sinking his claws and his teeth everywhere. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, he was very, very strong, preaching about the truth. What truth? The truth that every soul is an eternal servant of Krishna. And he even gave the examples of Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur in his scriptures to show the reality of the situation, that birth, bodily color, nationality, how you look, all of these things has no bearing. What religion you were born in. In fact, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, he showed through Haridas Thakur that qualification is not dependent upon anything except for bhakti. That Haridas Thakur was born in a family of Muslims. That Hanuman was born in a family of monkeys, bandas. But their bhakti is the thing that matters more than anything. And any other quality, to judge a Vaishnava, I think this is also Vrindavan Das Thakur, to judge a Vaishnava according to their birth or their previous activities before they came to bhakti, before they accepted initiation into Krishna bhakti, into Krishna consciousness, to judge them for what they have done before, this paves a path to hell. And this is told in the history of Jagai and Madai. It is said that there was no sin that these two had not committed. Every sin under the sun they had committed. In fact, they even physically hurt Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And Mahaprabhu wanted to kill them. He was screaming for his chakra. Nityananda Prabhu stopped him. Why? Because these two fell at the feet of Nityananda Prabhu and begged for his mercy. So Nityananda Prabhu then petitioned on their behalf to Mahaprabhu. Although Mahaprabhu was so angry he wanted to kill them, but Nitai said no.
What will you do, kill everyone?
What will you do, kill everyone? Everyone in Kali Yuga has some demonic trait manifesting. Are you going to kill the whole world? No, your function is not to do that. Your function is to kill the demonic tendency within everyone and liberate the devotee, awaken the devotee. So Nityananda Prabhu, by his mercy, broke open that dam of prem. And that dam flooded everywhere. Ghare ghare bule prem amiyaraban. The mercy of Mahaprabhu flooded everywhere. Went to every house. Ghare ghare bule prem. To every person. So at that time Mahaprabhu gave his mercy to Jagai and Madai. He said, you should repent. That means you tell, with your full heart, I have done all of these things. I am so sinful. I don't know if there's any hope for me. But please, give me your mercy. Our Gurudev explained what real repentance is. He said, real repentance doesn't mean that you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and then you do it immediately the next day. This is not repentance. This is a sign of zero sincerity. He said real repentance means you will weep and cry and beg for forgiveness and vow from the core of your heart and try to uphold that vow to the best of your ability that I will never do those things again. This is real repentance. So, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur,
Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai. I just wanted to reiterate that he said Mahaprabhu said, anyone who will judge Jagai and Madai, these two, which their names are Jagarananda and Madhavananda. Anyone who will judge them according to their previous sinful activities, now that they have surrendered and taken shelter. Anyone who will judge them and criticize them according to their previous activities before, they will pave their path to hell. So this is the mercy of the Lord. Some people don't believe in this, but everywhere in all of our Shastras, it is said that if one is sincere, truly repents, falls at the feet of the pure devotee and the Lord, and vows to give up all of their nonsense from this day forth, and endeavors wholeheartedly to hold on tightly to their lotus feet, those persons should not be judged. And this means judging anyone according to what womb they were born from, what country they were born in, what varna,
What activities they did.
whether they're Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, what sinful activities they may have committed in this life or a previous life or millions of previous lives. Gurudev said there is not one sin you have not committed millions of times over in your sojourn through material existence. And if you could even remember 10 lifetimes of what is due to you, you would die of sheer fright. So Krishna mercifully doesn't allow you to remember so much so that you can be in a balanced state, so that you can do bhajan and focus on Krishna. Otherwise, we'll just be in a state of struggle. So Mahaprabhu said, and I needed to reiterate this point, that don't judge them from their previous activities. Now they are pure. So we should only see in terms of someone's level of devotion and bhakti. This is real, proper judgment. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshashti chet pranatibhishcha bhajantamisham shushrushaya bhajana vidyamananyamanya nindadi shunyam hridamitsita sangalabhya. So now we have a few minutes left because we've been studying going beyond Vaikuntha.
Should I tap this one more?
It is a little strange.
I'll be right back. Okay. Just continue. I'll be right back. No,
Okay.
Oh, it's wind.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're just about to have a storm.
Oh, probably close everything up.
Okay, it's still going.
Okay,
You go.
dig in.
We just heard a lot of noise going on and we didn't know, but
You're close.
it's like a storm
Yes.
coming.
Dig in. So, yesterday, first I'll offer pranam to Sri Sanatan Goswami, who composed Sri Bhagavatamrita. Vairagaju bhakti samprayatner apayanam mam anubhikshamandam kripambudirya paradukudukhi sanatanastam prabhumashrayami. Praying to the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Sanatan Goswami and our Gurudeva, the commentator, that may even a particle of their moods manifest within our hearts. So last time Srila Gurudev was speaking about Sukriti. Sukriti means spiritual merits. Sometimes people use the word Sukriti for material things, like in Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, Janma Koti Shukrita na labhyate. So millions of births of Sukriti means doing material, charitable things. Mundane activities like giving in charity, helping the poor, building hospitals, doing all of these things. This is also Sukriti. But it is not the kind of Sukriti that gives one bhakti. Janma Koti Shukrita na labhyate. One cannot have Krishna bhakti through doing material good works. What is the root qualification for Krishna bhakti? The intense, greedy desire to have it. But we can do activities which bring bhakti sukriti. All of the activities in bhakti that Sri Guru, that our parampara, that our shastras have given.
Just let them know we might lose power.
We may lose connection because there's a pretty good windstorm coming right now.
So any moment it could.
Any moment it could cut out. This is an important thing to consider. Any moment our life can be finished. What do we want to be thinking of?
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So our Gurudeva was speaking that if we have sufficient sukriti, means spiritual merit from previous lifetimes, then we won't be attracted or attached to the mundane material things of this world. We won't be attracted or attached to the mundane material things of this world. This is by sufficient sukriti from previous lifetimes. If we're attracted or attached to all material things, material sense objects, including those things which we consider I and, in terms of I and mine, even this body, my wife, my niece, my family, my home, my this, my that, all kinds of relationships to do with the material body and material attachments, this is a sign of less sukriti. It doesn't mean that you're not able to progress, but persons like Narada Muni, for example, he heard from the Bhaktivedantas. He once, by their permission, took the remnants of their Mahaprasad. And then, by the arrangement of providence, his mother, who was quite young, was bitten by a snake and she expired. His sukriti was such that immediately he entered the forest searching and weeping and crying for the Lord, without any attraction or attachment to anything of this material world whatsoever. And that is also the definition, within the definition of that person who is qualified to be known as Sri Guru, for whom the material world holds no charm whatsoever. Like our Gurudev, what was his sukriti? As soon as he heard about Krishna, and he heard about the teachings of Mahaprabhu, he took shelter of Sri Harinam. He accepted it on faith and began chanting minimum of 64 rounds a day or more at that moment, weeping and crying. His sukriti was, we understand that, of course, he's descended, divinely descended, but he's showing by his own example for our benefit. But his sukriti was such that he was able to take full shelter in Harinam. And then so many miraculous things happened in his life that he realized that Krishna has taken full control. That Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer. Shraddha, Shabde, Vishwas, Kohi, Sudurga, Nishtoy, Krishna, Bhakti, Koile, Sarva, Karma, Krita Hoy. That I have nothing else to worry about in this material world. That just by doing Krishna Bhakti, everything else is taken care of. Nothing to do, Baba, nothing to do. Like Sri Gurudeva Maharaja said. So what did he do? He completely gave up all of his material attachments, went with nothing except his heart to Navadvip Dham and surrendered fully at the lotus feet of his Gurudev. All of the attachments that I had to my father, my mother, my friends, my wife, my children, my village, my position, my everything, all of that attachment I have now collected in one point, and I'm offering it exclusively at your lotus feet. It's a pretty good storm, raining and windy.
And lightning. I wish I could bring the camera out so they could see it.
We can in a minute. Actually, I don't know.
Show them. Let me see
You
if
want
you
to see
can
a Vrindavan storm?
Let's see if we can show you a Vrindavan storm.
Oh my God! It's so. Can you close that? Close those doors.
Yeah, no, it's too much.
She can't even go outside. It's going right through the veranda.
Oh.
Can you close the back doors?
Shut your windows quickly.
Can you close your window?
I did, but shh, go, just go.
Oh.
No, it's okay.
It's a little exciting. So, yesterday Srila Gurudev was speaking about those persons who want to experience everything for themselves, to basically start from scratch and figure it out all on their own by themselves. Just checking, make sure it's...
Did it stop? No, it's live. Go.
Okay. Those persons who want to start from scratch, basically redesign a smartphone from scratch. But this is redesigning the entire journey of the jiva from here to perfection on our own, by our own strength and power. He said it's actually not possible. So many people want to experience all of the many worlds themselves, but not everyone will have the previous merit to do so. Therefore, being merciful. Sanatan Goswami has explained the happiness to be attained in those worlds, the situation there, and the reason for ultimately becoming indifferent to one world and going to another. He revealed all of this through the medium of the story of Gopakumar, taking us through all of those worlds until we finally arrive in Goloka Vrindavan. In other words, he's already given us all of that information. Instead of having to go through it, we can take his experience and he's going to give us the fully experienced package. Brihad Bhagavatamrita is the fully experienced, fully realized substance, so that we don't have to try to figure it out ourselves. Yesterday we were making the point that from the perspective of a pure devotee, the idea of being without seva to the Lord is like hell. You know, sometimes we hear from devotees, oh, I'm too old, I'll do it next life. I don't know if you can imagine if you told that to a pure devotee who has experienced loving service to Krishna. The idea of that would just be heartbreaking.
Like Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj at 90 used to thank the devotees. I'm so old, I have no way to do any kind of seva, but you have come here and have given me the opportunity to serve Hari Katha. And he would thank us again and again because we would sit in his lectures.
He said, I cannot do anything else. There's nothing else I can do. This is the only seva I can do, is to give you Hari Katha. So he would say, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. He would be so thankful. But in this case, I wanted to mention, what does Mahaprabhu say in Sri Shikshashtakam? Yugaitam nimeshena, chakshusha pravishaitam, shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. That in separation from Govinda, one moment feels like millions of yugas in separation from Govinda. And we have the mood, what's millions of yugas in separation from Govinda? One day or another I will make it. But from the perspective of someone who's actually feeling separation, to see anyone who's so complacent that they don't even have an inkling to want to serve, to offer their heart, which is made, your soul is made to love and serve Krishna. When they see that, it breaks their heart. It is said that their hearts bleed to see the suffering of the jivas. And we think, no, I'm happy. I'm enjoying this world. But from their perspective, I remember once Srila Gurudev, he said, you think you are happy, but I see that you are wallowing in a pit of sewage, happy eating the stool of this world. Come with me. I have a pool of nectar and you can bathe in this nectar, but you don't want to come. You want to stay there eating the stool of this world. Today I read, Srila Gurudev said, he said, we become so maddened in this material world. We're like intoxicated persons. We're so drunk we don't know what's what and what's right and what's wrong. Intoxicated with this material world, walking down the street saying, I am the emperor of the world. And then we fall face first into a ditch and some dog comes and starts licking our face and then he urinates on us. And we think, my loyal followers are giving me abhishek. He said, this is the nature of our pleasure in this material world. From their perspective, they see it. It is devoid of serving Krishna. It is self-serving and it is complete madness, lunacy. And they're trying to give us the best thing they can. That's why our Param Gurudev's Pranam Mantra, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami's Pranam Mantra, Ati Martya Charitraya Svashritanam Chapaline Jiva Duke Sadartaya Shri Nama Prema Daine. That his heart is bleeding upon seeing the suffering of the jivas. Our happiness and suffering in terms of the material world is all suffering from their perspective. Their hearts break. Why? Because they are the embodiments, the forms of the mercy and compassion of the Lord. So they cannot help themselves. Their heart breaks upon seeing our suffering. Therefore they want to help us out of that situation. And they know there's really only one way. Hare Nam,
Hare Nam,
Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam,
Kalo Nastyeva, 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 Gati Anyata.
There is no other way other than the names of Krishna. Chanting the names of Krishna, glorifying his forms, qualities, and pastimes. There's no other way. So Jiva Duke Sadartaya, feeling this extreme mercy and compassion for the Jivas, they want to give the best thing. What is that? Shri Nama Prema. They want to give that. Shri Harinama Sankirtana ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Shri Bhagavatamrita ki Jai. Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. So I know we only read a little bit of going beyond Vaikuntha today, but today we also had the opportunity to remember Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. So we're praying in the dust of his lotus feet that may he give us even a particle of the nishta that he has for Sri Nityananda Prabhu, that we can also develop that in the lotus feet of our Gurudev, that we can also receive a particle of the mercy, of the realizations and the truths that he has given in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. May those truths and may that mercy manifest in our hearts by his mercy. I'm praying that today, because we spoke so much about Sri Nityananda Prabhu, because if you speak about anyone's guru, that's what gets them very happy and excited. So I'm praying that he may take notice that we talked about his guru, his Lord and Master. May he be merciful to us that we're remembering Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and may he bless us. We will continue with more tomorrow of Shri Going Beyond Vaikuntha. Okay.
Give me a tune. Give me a tune, any tune that I can sing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hari Hari Bol.
Srika Gurudev ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Mohan Gurudev ki
Jai.
Srila Thakur ki
Jai.
Maharaja ki
Jai.
Pratipavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki
Jai.
Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki
Jai.
Shri Radha Vinod Bihari ji ki
Jai.
Shri Radha Raman Sarkar ki
Jai.
Raj Maharaj ki
Jai.
Sankirtan ki Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki
Jai.
Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki
Jai.
Jai Gaur Premanande
Hari Hari Bol. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Ki Jai, Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shout.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
So we hope to see you all tomorrow, or we hope you will join us tomorrow. We don't see you, but we feel you. Thank you for being with us and for encouraging us in our Guru Seva and for joining us in Kirtan.
Radhe 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 Radhe. See you tomorrow.